Assalamualaikum everybody. So today we're going to present the second phase of our discrete project. And in this, first we're going to talk about understanding the input dataset of football matches. So the dataset provided to us represents patterns in football matches where each pass is a directed edge between two players, denoting the sender and receiver, and each player is a node and passes between them form edges. Importantly, the dataset includes timestamps for each pass, allowing us to track how interactions evolve over time. Our goal in data presentation is to transform this raw dataset into a series of dynamic graph snapshots, capturing passing actions within specific time intervals during a match. Each snapshot represents a subgraph where nodes are active players and edges reflect the passing interactions during that interval. This forms the foundation for analyzing evolving team strategies using graph isomorphism techniques. So, by processing this dataset into the format required by Oberoi code, we can identify and analyze key passing patterns over time. So the strategy that we are going to be using for segregating passes of one match from the others include identifying the match boundaries. For example, each match in the dataset is separated by unique timestamp ranges or identifiers. By grouping passes based on these boundaries, we can ensure that only passes within a specific match are processed together. For example, if there is a pass between 2 seconds to 4 seconds, there cannot be multiple passes between the same times because that would mean that there are multiple matches going on. In one match, there can only be one pass between a certain time interval. Then we also did time-based segregation, which means that timestamps, time start and time end associated with each pass help us isolate passes belonging to a single match. We defined a consistent time window to differentiate between matches, ensuring that there is no overlap or mixing of passes across games. For example, if player one is passing to player two between 2 seconds to 4 seconds, then if there's a pass between 3 or 3.5 seconds, then that does not belong to that match because a certain pass is already going on. So there cannot be multiple passes in one match. Then another technique that we use was understanding the coordinate data, where each pass in the dataset has special coordinates like x1, x2, x3 till 28, and y coordinates from 1 till 28. So these coordinates represent player positions or ball locations during a pass. Analyzing clusters or patterns in these coordinates can help distinguish one match from another. So then what we did was iterative filtering. Using these timestamps, we scan the data set iteratively, filtering passes based on their match duration. Passes falling within the same duration are grouped into a single match file. And then there is dynamic graph representation. Once passes for a match are segregated, they are further organized into dynamic snapshots. Each snapshot captures passes made in smaller predefined intervals during the match. Then for the output preparation, we generated a separate dynamic graph file in the required format where the node represent the active players in the match, edges capture passes including attributes like frequency and timestamps, and each match data is stored in isolation to prevent data leakage between matches. This approach ensures clean and accurate segregation of passes, enabling detailed analysis of passing patterns for individual matches without interference from other games. So then, when we talk about the input and output of Oberoi's code, we did not actually change the Oberoi's code because it actually met our demand and requirements. So now I'll explain what the code actually was. So the code takes two inputs, a pattern graph H and a target graph G, which are represented as snapshots, where each snapshot contains nodes and edges. The code outputs the match subgraphs, node mappings, and execution time. For example, if H includes nodes V1, I5, and R3, and G contains nodes V100, I15, R25, the code maps each node from H to G while maintaining the order in which the snapshots occur over time. And if no match is found, the output indicates that as well. This allows the users to see whether the dynamic graph pattern exists in the larger graph and how it aligns over time. Now, Memuna will further explain the code.
Okay, so now I'll demonstrate how the input data has been prepared and converted into graph representations suitable for analysis using dynamic subgraph isomorphism. So we start with a data set of football passes in CSV format. Each row represents a pass, including attributes such as the time the pass was made, the player who made the pass, and the player who received it. And for the output, the segmented data is then converted into graph format. For each snapshot, a list of nodes is created with attributes such as player IDs. A list of edges is created with weights or timestamps as attributes. And the final graph files follow the required format, detailing the number of nodes, node attributes, and edges with their attributes. This completes the demonstration of converting input data into graphs, capturing the dynamic nature of football passing pattern. Fatma, please go to the next slide. So the, this is an output of what I just told you guys. Next now. Okay, so now I'll actually describe the code. So the first thing we did was modify the input. The first step involves reading the CSV file. A function modifies each row of the input, extracting essential attributes, which are time start, time end, sender ID, and receiver ID. This data is then stored in a structured format for processing. And then the second step is match segmentation. It is to divide the data into separate matches. This is achieved using time and player identifiers, as Fatma told before. Each pass is assigned to a match based on unique match IDs, sequential time values, and player consistency in sender receiver pairs. This ensures that each match has its passes grouped correctly. For step three, we have to create graph snapshots. So for each match, the passes are further divided into time-based intervals to capture the temporal evolution of interactions. Within each interval, players are represented as nodes, and passes between players are represented as directed edges. So for the output graphs, the processed data is written into graph files, and the output specifies the total number of nodes, node attributes, the number of edges for each node, and edge attributes. And these files are now ready for use in subgraph isomorphism analysis. And now I'll show the code. Okay, so this is an example of our target graph. Now I'll show the output and execute the code. So this was our output, and now Fatma will continue.
Okay, so I'll be talking about the passing patterns and comparison of team strategies. In this analysis, we utilize the dynamic graph isomorphism to identify key passing patterns and compare the strategies of two teams based on their passing data. The results, as shown in the figure, similar to figure 3 and 4 from Berger, reveal significant differences in the team's tactical approaches. From the analysis, we identified distinct passing structures that are indicative of each team's strategy. These patterns were derived by examining the edges between players and how they evolved over time during the match. For example, Team A demonstrated a preference for quick direct passes that focuses on moving the ball from defense to attack with minimal touches. The passing network showed frequent edges in the final third, reflecting their counter-attack approaching. Team B, in contrast, favored maintaining possession and building up play gradually through short passes. The network displayed a more even distribution of edges across the entire field, particularly in midfield, indicating a focus on controlling the game's tempo. The passing patterns of the two teams differ in several key ways. Team E's strategy. The network analysis reveals that Team A's passing strategy is highly dynamic, with significant shifts in passing patterns depending on the game state. They tend to use fewer but longer passes, aiming for quick transitions. Their passing network is more concentrated in areas like the wings and attacking zones. Team B, on the other hand, focuses on maintaining possession for longer periods. Their passing network is more distributed across the field, reflecting a possession based game that prioritizes short, interconnected passes to break down the opponent's defense. The key passing patterns and the comparison clearly demonstrate how the team's strategies are shaped by their passing choices. Team A's direct and fast-paced passing contrasts with Team B's measured possession-oriented approach. These insights not only highlight their differing tactical philosophies but also provide valuable information on how each team adapts their passing style in response to game dynamics.